Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, Kristal.
How are you doing?
Can you?
Good, thanks. You look lovely today.
Really? Adam Sandlering?
No, not really. I don't think so. But if that's what you call Adam Sandlering.
Like I mentioned to you earlier, that meme that's going around with how people are dressed,
The
dropping
Adam
off their
Sandler.
kids.
Oh, not the Adam Sandler.
Yeah, the Adam Sandler move. That's me, dropping my kid off at school. I'm Adam Sandler. So 6 out of 7 days in a week, I'm Adam Sandler. Literally. I mean, I bumped into friends, funnily enough. We were at the centre in New Redruth, or that new market mall or whatever.
It's gone very nice there.
Really, very nice.
I was very impressed. I went there the other day.
Really nice. So we popped in there because last week when we were going to a function, Fabian and I obviously left gifts to the last minute and he needed something to wear, so we in and out the shops. Not ready to see people. So it was a Saturday, I had an everything shower in the morning and I was like, oh, I'm not putting any makeup on, slapped on a grey pair of tracksuit pants, black top, off I go. I think I might have had Crocs on, okay? And off we go. And you don't want to see people. I'm not going to see anyone. No, you are, Kelly. No, it's Saturday, love. Okay.
You're going to see everybody.
So after seeing about 12 people, we walk into the one store. I'm looking at shirts and stuff and I hear, how's it, Culls? And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I turn around, look, it's an old friend from back in the day. I'm like, how's it? His wife's there. I'm like, guys, please, I'm really sorry. Forgive what I look like. I know I look like shit. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you know those days where you just don't want to see anyone and you see the most? And she said to me, what are you talking about? You look perfectly fine. You look great. And I'm like, no, we mustn't line up. And this is coming from someone who does not need a stitch of makeup. She is one of the most beautiful human beings. You know when your insides match your outsides?
Yeah.
I mean, she's got the mermaid hair and she's flawless. She's a beautiful human. And she was genuinely looking at me with like squinted eyes saying, who cares? What are you on about? You look great.
Yeah.
You're out. You're fine. What? As if to say, why would you be dolled up? But I think that comes from past insecurities where I had to always be dressed up and everything had to match. I would not leave my house without makeup on.
I was never that.
I am now borderline homeless looking.
But that's my look is homeless.
The mom
I love
bun
it.
is rocked every day. I don't have time. It sounds disgusting. Prioritize. No, because I'm running after one of my kids looking for a school shoe because we lose one school shoe. Where's your shoe? No, we don't know. No. And it's not about you lost it, you find it anymore because you won't find the fucking shoe.
It's your problem. Just like you said, they phone you to bring you a Coke.
That's I got to work on that. I have to work on that.
But we are bringing up children that are going to be softies, I think.
No, I've mentioned it a million times. Millennial parenting is destroying the next generation.
It really is.
And I don't know if it's because of the way that we were raised and we were like, let's not. But
we were raised like we were in the outback, bro.
I'm strict in certain ways. I've still got really old school morals and values. But to phone me from your gaming station in the same house and say, I'm busy in a match, please bring me a Coke and put down.
And you do it. With a smile on your face.
No, there was no smile. I said to him, this is unacceptable.
No,
he got the cold drink.
I do whatever. I'll ask them both, what do you want for supper? And if one wants something, I'll go make two separate meals.
No.
Whatever they want,
okay, but that's a Lebanese thing.
Whatever they want, they get.
No.
But if I look at myself, every morning when I pack their lunch for school,
oh, my best.
I see how lovely their lunchboxes
are.
Oh, my best. They have a snack. It's
borderline gourmet.
It's amazing.
Hey?
Okay.
What did we get?
Bro, I got a freaking sandwich. Until today, I can't eat a ham and mayonnaise sandwich.
I think for a good, solid 4 or 5 years, I never got lunch at school.
No, but hold on. We got the lunch and they put it in a jiffy. You know the little sandwich bag?
Yeah.
By the time
You're lucky
lunch
you got a
came,
bag. I think I had foil. And then sometimes you'd forget it there and it would go mouldy.
Yeah, and then there's no water bottle. They never thought, let me send them water and let me send them fruit because it's out. No, that's what we got.
No.
They used to forget to pick us up from school. And we had to just sit. You know, like if school ended at whatever time.
If we couldn't get fetched, we'd walk.
No, we had to wait. Like specifically where they told us, right? When we pick you up from school, we pick you up at this gate.
No.
And we
if
weren't
I wasn't
allowed
picked
to
up
move.
by a certain time, I knew I got to move the feet.
Often forget us at school. And I think today my kids, if I'm 5 minutes late, they say, but why were you late today?
Panic attack.
Yeah, where were you?
Gets in the car with this entitled mood. Where were you?
Yeah,
I finish at 2. And I'm like, listen, bitch, I have things to do. Sometimes I run late. You know, if I'm coming from the north, unpredictability happens on a highway. No, it's unacceptable.
No, this is my kids are in the homeschooling.
And then I really feel bad.
No, Ethan and them are in the homeschooling. So Ethan will say, you know, Ma, I never slept well last night. Do you think if I finish my work, you can come pick me up at around 11?
Or can I have a personal day?
I'm like, are you kidding me? I've got work to do. When I'm finished...
But you fetch him,
I'll come... No, I don't. Because I used to. Now I tell him, don't phone me because I'm doing this and this and this and this. And when I'm ready, I'll come pick you up from school. We are bringing up rats, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, no, they are very, very spoilt in a lot of ways compared to...
But then again,
it's the same... Look at the times. I mean, we can't blame them entirely. I mean, we are literally a technological freaking generation at the moment. Everything is online. Everything is screens, laptops at school, tablets at school. So it's almost like when I fight with Levi and I say to him, look, at the end of the day, boy, you can't live on your PlayStation. Me and my brother during school holidays
lived on the PlayStation.
We must have clocked Mario Bros.
That's
and Mortal
what was
Kombat.
It called? It wasn't PlayStation. It was called
Nintendo. Yeah, and Sega. We used to clock game after game after game over and over and over. Look, this is in between skateboarding and
BMXing. And KTV. Don't forget KTV.
No, we were.
Did you have KTV?
No, we didn't have. I wasn't that way inclined. We were average folk.
KTV was for everybody.
Yeah, I had Pumpkin Patch.
I had KTV.
Or Kiddio.
And Pumpkin Patch.
KTV came later. I think it was at my grandparents' house with Mnet and open time.
Yeah, KTV was every Saturday at 7 o'clock was KTV.
Yeah, I didn't have that luxury. I think maybe I got the luxury because I was 12 when I went into high school.
12 in high school? Yeah, because you're 13.
I started early. And then I think we got DSTV when I got into it, and that was a thing, eh? Because now... Now you got MTV.
MTV, I remember when that came out. You were cool stuff if you had MTV at home, eh?
I must be honest, I watched more Cartoon Network than MTV though.
Yeah, no.
Kind Chicken, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls.
I think we all used to do that. And we literally used to sit and watch it for hours on end. My kids can't watch it today. I call them. I put it on for them.
No, because our cartoons, the graphics aren't good enough.
They can't watch it. They say to me like, they can't.
But thank God they can't, because have you rewatched the Cow and Chicken episode? They eat pork butts and taters. The mom and dad are half a body.
I've never noticed.
Watch SpongeBob. Watch an episode.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, because we...
So your times are definitely different. Definitely different. So God knows what our kids are actually going to be when they're older.
Look, as long as we're still sticking to a lot of basic morals, values and respect, I think that foundation is a good thing. We maybe have to be a little bit more understanding to the fact that, okay, you can't sit on your PlayStation or on your phone for 6 hours, even though we did. But it is a different effect on the brain today with regards to what they have access to and the games that they're playing. And like Levi just wants to play GTA.
But hold on, in the children's defense, what other socializing do they have with each other? There's Ethan and Gabriel.
Yeah.
They're friends.
Online.
But if they don't play online, they're never going to see each other.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I was always...
Okay, but that falls on us because we could do better and make plans. That's what I'm saying.
We could do better as parents. All the kids, if there's no one playing online, for example, you know, like they have exams, so no one's allowed to play at certain times or whatever, I notice the kids don't play.
Yeah.
But the minute everyone's playing, then they're all online again. So... I do think it's their way of socializing.
It is their way of socializing.
And we do fight with them, but we're actually wrong. Because as parents, none of us... Because we don't have time. So sometimes we...
No, well, this is the thing. I wouldn't take my kids out to a Wimpy without a tablet.
Exactly.
Are you insane?
It's easier. Just leave them on the PlayStation and carry on your day. That's where we are wrong.
They are different. So... Wow.
But I feel sorry for them because they have no other socializing. When we were small, we could ride our bicycles outside.
Yeah, exactly.
We could go play in the felt. I remember playing in a real felt. Like, in the felt.
Setting things on fire.
Yeah, like climbing up walls, jumping off walls,
walking
off the
to
roof.
the corner cafe.
And everyone in the streets, all the youngsters were friends. Really, like we used to go knock on each other's doors. And
can this one come out and play?
Now today, the kids don't have that
you don't knock on that door, eh? You don't go near that house, you don't open it, you don't know who's in there.
Don't talk to this person, don't talk to
you. And if this person talks to you, you just walk away.
Yeah, so we've brought them up in fear.
Yeah, but we've had to.
We do live in a society
in a different time
where you can't trust anybody. You don't know what's going to happen.
That's the thing.
So
and
it's
it
like,
is so sad because
it's like,
if they go to a sleepover, which mine are not allowed to do unless it's direct family or like a very, very close friend, which we consider family, the worst part about it for me is you don't know if they're going to have friends coming over to
don't know what's
visit.
happening
And the
in
worst
that
part about it
household.
is with the way my anxiety-driven brain works, who is this brother-in-law and where it's terrible. It really is terrible to live like that. And unfortunately, they punished for it. But at the end of the day,
It's
I think I'd
reality,
rather
though.
have it. Yeah,
it's
I'd rather have
reality.
it
A
that
lot of
way.
people, and yet a lot of people don't see it from our, because I'm like that, and a lot of people don't see it from that perspective.
Because a lot of people aren't helicopter parents like us. Like I helicopter parent the shit out of my kids, and I'm not sorry for it.
No, neither
They live phenomenal lives. They're very happy, stable children. I'd like to
believe
believe.
we're doing a good job.
But I'm very helicopter strict in a lot of ways.
I'm like
I get
that
told
too.
I'm too hard on the kids a lot of the time.
Yeah, like you must let them be strong. No, the way I'm bringing them up, I think is okay. I'm not going to go throw them in danger.
Yeah.
And
But I also don't want to raise them from a life that I don't want to raise them and then have them need to recover from that life. Like that's what I'm also trying to do with mine. Break a cycle. You know,
No, in that way, I must say I'm still very old-fashioned. Hey?
No.
Bring
There's
up
a
my
difference.
kids.
There's a difference between being old-fashioned and bringing up your kids with those old school ways, and then there's a difference between having a child that needs to recover from their childhood.
I'm very strict on my kids. As strict as I will evolve in everything, but I do find being morals, respect, being brought up, strictness.
Number one,
Exactly
massive.
how my mother and father
Respect for your
brought me up.
elders. I don't force them to kiss and hug adults hello if they don't want to, but you will greet.
Greet people.
You will say thank you. Yes, please. No, thank you.
Yes.
That's a massive one for me. Respect.
So I still do that as well. I don't just leave them to be their own people
Yeah.
and
No.
fend for themselves. I do discipline them that they have to do things the correct
Look, my kids have chores.
way.
My kids have chores. Like, how many kids today do you know? Like,
Can do things.
no, that have chores.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's still the old
Old
school
school,
that
yeah.
you're bringing into your space, where a lot of people don't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
They just leave them as they are. So I do think it's important to give them freedom and space. Like to me, PlayStation, I don't see the big deal. I mean, I have such a big family. I think this is the thing. And I'm the youngest of our generation, so I have older cousins. And I've seen their kids go through these phases.
Exactly.
And let me
phases.
tell you, sitting on the PlayStation is the least of our worries. Because
Yeah.
as they get 15, 16, we're going to wish they were just sitting on a PlayStation, playing PlayStation all day, because they're going to be doing other things. We're going to be fighting. I'm telling you.
No,
You think not?
not my... my
I've
goodness, I
seen
can't
it.
believe that nearly came out my mouth. Not my boys.
I've seen
And
it.
you see, the worst part about it is I really am that mom. Like, even before I had kids, I was that mom. My children will
Would
never.
never.
My son will not have that. My children will not do that. Let me tell you, they are nevering, like never before. Everything they will eat. Levi, literally, I think he lives on chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets and
McDonald's.
spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, my children live on McDonald's.
That's it. And Coke. That is it. Like, I literally take him every couple of months for blood tests because I'm like, what is he missing? Like, what is he lacking? How? And it's not a case of him being spoiled to the fact that he literally cannot eat every food. Doesn't touch sauce. I mean, I've tried to,
Yeah,
for
that's
lack of
the
a
other
better
thing with the
expression,
food.
force
We
feed
really
him.
spoil them with the food story.
You just said, what
We
like
had
it's
to,
a restaurant.
whatever was put down on that plate at night when
We had to
finish it.
I love food though, so I was okay with it.
No, I didn't enjoy most of my childhood
Oh,
food.
no, Jackie could cook, eh?
I didn't like vegetables, and I had to eat those vegetables, and
Jackie
I
can
hated
cook.
vegetables.
No, everything Jackie made was great.
So-
In actual fact, I think that's where my unhealthy relationship with food came. That woman cooked so well, baked so well. Oh, I think
That was amazing.
I'm just chasing that high of my mom's cooking.
No, we had to eat whatever was on that plate, and we had to finish it. And I think that's where my bad eating habits came
And
from. Because you're not
trauma.
allowed to waste.
That
You've
comes.
gotta eat.
That's trauma as well.
So now if my kids say they're full, I'm like, okay, fine, don't worry.
Listen, my mom's day was the same. They weren't allowed to leave the table, and my mother hated eating peas, loathed peas. So she literally sat at the dinner table the one night, and stuffed peas up her nose.
So she didn't have to eat them.
So she didn't have to eat them. And then didn't take them out. Obviously, a couple of days, she starts to stink. I mean, there's a little bit of an odour coming out of little Jackie.
And it's the peas.
And it's the peas in the nose. I mean, geez, look at how badly did you not want to eat your peas?
That's funny, eh?
But why didn't you just blow them out? I don't know. Shame. And then that got passed down to my sister because she ended up stuffing sponge up her nose once.
Yeah. And Astin did that the other day. He put a pom-pom up his nose.
Did you know it was there?
No, so the kids, every time we pick Astin up from school, this was a few months ago, the kids say, Mommy, he stinks. He stinks. He smells. They're not changing his nappy properly at school. And I'm like, but I can't smell anything. But they're telling me for like 3 days. On the 4th day, I start smelling this child. I'm like, no, Amber, something's wrong with him. Like, why does he stink like this? I used to bring him home. I bathed him. Like I couldn't believe the smell that was coming out this child. You know, I said, Amber, book the ENT. Do something, because his one side of his face was like...
Didn't you think to look in the nose?
No, his one side of the face was like a little bit swollen. Anyway, Amber's like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He hasn't got a temperature. She's like, we're trying to figure this thing out. So anyway, she finds me, she says, Kristal, I'm sitting on the floor with Astin, and I think there's something up his nose. I think that's what the smell is. She says, because I'm sitting with him, but I can smell...
Actually, I can't say, why didn't you check his nose? Because if you've never experienced it or been familiar with it,
and none
you
of our
won't
kids
know.
have ever done this.
Yeah, you see, mine is literally passed down from generation
never.
to
Amber's
generation.
like, he was sitting on my lap, and he literally, Kristal, he smells. And I
you can't explain the smell.
The smell. And I looked, and she said, I look up, and there's something green in his nose. So she says, just come past. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, I come past. We get our phone torches, lights, and we push his nose up. And there's like this green ball in his nose. And I said, Amber, we better take him to the hospital.
No, why didn't you?
So she says, no, we can't take him to the hospital because he's going to go like mad, you know, with the nurses. I said, fine, you hold him down and I'll get the tweezers. And we pulled this ball out. Kelly?
No.
It was the most disgusting smelling thing. And it was in there. So we phoned the school. And we're like, when did the kids play with toy pom-pom things? A week ago.
No, but it does take a couple of days.
He had this pom-pom in his nose for 1 week. When we pulled it out,
No, I know.
it was the most ugliest thing I've ever seen.
So my mother did it with the peas. Then my sister did it
How
with
long
sponge.
were the peas in?
No, I'm going to have to ask her. In fact, I plan on inviting her to come on here.
I'm going to ask her when she comes on.
My sister did it with sponge, you know, back in the days when you used to get your dolls, but they had the sponge-filled bodies. So she used to take pieces of sponge from her doll and stuff it up her nose. Again, didn't know. Started stinking. The helper said to my mom, listen, I don't know what's going on. We can't. And my mom knew straight away. Got home from work that day, laid her down on the bed and just started. But as she started pulling the sponge out of her nose. The stuff comes
out with it, eh?
Yeah. And the smell, and then her nose just bled. Please don't think that my sister's son goes and does exactly the same thing. So Nathan was about... I'm going to say maybe about 3 years old when he did it. And I went and I picked him up and his dad even said to me, and he was like, Flip, I don't know what's going on, but there's like a weird smell. I don't know what it is. Took him to the house, checked him, checked his ears, checked everything. And I'd kind of forgotten about the nose thing. I mean, because Caitlin did it, I think, when she was 6. So anyway, I turn around and I'm like, oh my God, let me just check. Lay him down on the bed, same thing, get the phone. And wow. So I phoned my brother-in-law and I'm like, listen, this is the story.
But don't worry, we're used to it.
We're going to, So I pulled out what I could with the tweezers. Shame the child was going berserk, but it was what it was. And then I did a saline flush. So you know that contraption with the water and I cannot tell you what came out of this child's nose. It was, I sent my brother-in-law pictures to the point where he had so much in him that during the week that he was back at his dad, he had to take him back to the emergency room because there was more.
What was it?
Sponge.
But it's funny, none of our kids have
we
ever
think
done
it was the sponge in the bath. We think he was biting the sponge in the bath. And why?
Why stick it up your nose?
No one's ever showed you that. No one, do you know? So that's the thing. I need to make sure it doesn't. We might need to educate our children on
sticking things,
warning their children.
But it's something if you like for parents to even think of. I'd never ever thought of the child putting something up his nose
and making them smell
and making them smell so bad. I would have thought it would have he couldn't breathe, blocked his nose. But obviously it didn't stop his breathing because he was breathing fine.
He was alive for a week.
Yeah, and then if he blew his nose, nothing came out. So it was like really
Lodged
launched
in
up
there.
there.
Yeah, no, kids,
We hobos.
completely hobos now. Like, I can literally live in tracksuit pants
We
and
take
a
the
t-shirt.
hobo status very like,
And the mom bun.
yeah. I don't think I've ever put my hair down in the last 13 years.
Is a little bit rough if you think about it.
My hair's, have you ever seen my hair down?
I wear makeup when I go to functions. It's the biggest effort of my life, and I used to love it.
And
I
eyelashes?
used to love it.
It's like a big thing to go put eyelashes on.
No,
And
so
you
my
get-
lashes I stopped doing, and I loved my lashes. I loved them so
You're the reason I
much.
started doing lashes.
Let me tell you something. If anybody is looking for a lash technician,
Has to be Karina.
Has to be Karina. You go to Karina. She is, what is it? Lashed by Karina.
Yeah.
In actual fact, we're gonna.
We'll
add
tag
her,
it.
We'll tag her Instagram. She is the most phenomenal lash technician.
She really is good.
And I was scared when I first went, and I was like, I don't want it to look like that. And we got so eased into it that by the time my last set was done, it was full double volume. And let me tell you something. The only reason why I stopped doing it was because I started running out of time. And
the main reason, Kelly, tell everyone the main reason why you stopped doing your lashes.
I love to pride myself on thinking that I don't give a fuck about what everyone thinks and says. It's a healthy space to be in, but I really do. I really do.
Yes, but you don't. It's just
But
that
there's
one person.
person.
There's always one person.
So I was FaceTiming with my mom, and she's in the UK. My brother lives in the UK, and she was at my brother's house. And my brother came and he took the phone. I'd literally just woken up. I was sitting in my bed. So we're chatting and stuff, and he literally just turns around and he's like, what the fuck is on your face? So I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, what are those things on your eyes? So I said, Barry, they're my lashes. And he's like, no. He's like, no, geez, get rid of them. Get rid of them.
And
I'm
that's been
like,
a while
why?
now. That's like 2 years, eh?
I said to him, but why? I said, when they like combed and stuff, it looks nice because I don't wear makeup anymore. I literally don't wear makeup. I wake up, wash my face, tie my hair up, and I walk out. And he was like, listen, no one loves you enough to tell you this. I can't believe I have to say, get that shit off your face. You look ridiculous. It's not, it's true's God. That was my last set of lashes.
No, but
All
I
it
think
took
Barry was very wrong.
was my brother.
Because you look beautiful with the lashes, and I never used to like lashes.
He has bullied me my whole life.
And
actually.
after I saw your lashes, I was like, wow, Kelly, your lashes look lovely.
Do you know how many people went and did their
I'm
lashes?
going to go do it. And when you did it, I did it. So I think Barry was a bit horrible.
No, he
over
was honest with me, because if I look back now, I'm like, wow.
there.
And
But
I loved them.
But maybe you just went a bit overboard.
I did full volume, but they looked incredible.
So maybe go again,
I don't
but
regret them. Start little
again.
bit by bit again.
Because Karina is great, and that woman has patience of a saint. You know, the first
And she
time,
gels with everybody, and she'll talk about everything.
First time I walked into her place, and you know her place is all nice and whatever. For some reason, I was laying down and I was having a full-on panic attack. I don't know why.
But everybody starts off
Because
like
it's like that quiet,
And
you
you're laying
know,
flat.
yeah, you're laying flat,
And you can't move.
and you
can't
move.
open your eyes because
You
they're
can't
tape
open your
closed.
eyes. I had a full-on
No,
panic
it's a
attack.
recipe for a complete.
And I
fuck-up.
said to her, I don't know you, but I'm so sorry, but I'm having a proper full-on
to sit
panic
up.
attack. So she's like, no, don't worry, let's just talk. And shame, like she spoke, and the more she was speaking to me, like the panic attack was wearing off. So now every time I go to her, I take a Urbinol. Because I know it really, because I don't want to have that panic attack again.
I wouldn't go for lashes
And it's a
without taking an
2.5 hour
session,
session
depending.
where you're laying down and your eyes are
Taped
closed to your face. No, that gave
Your
me...
phone's vibrating all over the place. You don't
And
know
you
what
can't
you're doing
even
when
look.
you're holding it up.
So shame, she really has got patience of a saint, that girl.
And she really is the best.
And her work is amazing. So yeah, Karina is really, really good at what she does.
Shame, and you know, when the first time she ever did my lashes was in Petula Salon, when Petula Salon was still at Ave Africa.
Yeah.
Which she has completely moved now. I know we mentioned it in the last
Yes.
one. So
Is it up and running?
She's got a separate room where she's doing her treatments from, all her treatments at the moment, and they are busy with the renovations on the salon side. It's going to be incredible. So she's still doing all of her and you know her,
Yeah, Petula is really...
above and beyond. If you need 12 sessions of laser, the way that Petula lasers your body, you're probably only going to need 8.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for her move. And it's cool because Karina's in Basonia and Petula's in
I'm so happy Petula's moved closer, because now there's more, you don't have to travel all that way out.
And everyone knows Petula.
And Petula's really, I'm not just saying it. I told you she's the best, especially at facials. When my skin, a few years ago, whenever Petula first opened.
Yeah, it sorted you out.
How bad
No, well,
was
you
my
must
skin?
remember she had Skin Deep at Kamara Crossing for
But
years.
I never went there. That wasn't my time.
That
I
was
lived
by
in
the
Cape
nail
Town.
studio and head games. And
No, I was in Cape Town. I never wasn't in Joburg in that era. And then my skin, I don't know what it did. And I phoned Petula. She just opened and she started my facials. And I can thank
Flawless.
Petula for my skin.
It's her passion for it, though. And it's because she knows exactly what she's doing. And she will tell you, this is what I love about her. Not the most. I mean, there's a few things. But if you're laying there and you say, okay, I want this and this done, and then I also want this done, she'll say, okay, we can do this, but it's unnecessary to do
add.
the second thing. Even though it's money for her, it's unnecessary to add this because it's not going to penetrate as well now. So come back in a week or two. Her passion for it overrides
And her knowledge.
anything.
I mean, how many
Yes.
times are we sitting doing our nails
And she's speaking a different language.
And when she's listening to that lady talk.
Yes. Oh, yeah, when she has her
When she
online
has her
meetings.
online meetings. And she really, really takes it.
That's why she takes home Therapist of the Year every year.
She really takes this thing. She really does her business with her heart. It's not even about the money.
100%.
She really has a passion for what she does.
She does pride herself on being that. And she says, if you're not going to do it properly, don't do it at all.
That is true.
Yeah.
Oh, with saying all these things, I think we should end this episode right now. And we'll carry on next week. But just another shout out to, we will take Karina, Petula and Kelly K counseling that we mentioned in this episode. And we will be back next week.
See you later.